So Movsar Evloev just confirmed with us that he will not be fighting for the next title shot. He took to Twitter a few hours ago saying that uh, basically that he hopes that he wins his fight on July and Alexander Volkanovski wins his fight in September, and hopefully they can meet up soon. So he took to Twitter saying, "Thank you, champ, for trying to fight me. I will fight in July and you will fight in September. Hopefully we both win and we can meet in December." Now, this should be known. I do not like Movsar Evloev whatsoever. There are a lot of reasons why I do not like Movsar Evloev whatsoever. That being said, I think this is ridiculous because there's nobody else left in the featherweight division. I'm not about to give uh, the next title shot to Leron Murphy or, God forbid, the next guy I'm going to be talking about, which, according to some sources, that's what it's headed to be like. Because over here we have rumors about Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez too. Now, the fact that this matchup is so horrible that it's making me advocate for a Movsar Evloev title shot should just let you know about how terrible this matchmaking is. And Mr. Coulon over here, I don't know why the UFC is even bothering to give him a title shot. I'll go over his last few fights in a second, but basically, he just got this title shot because he's Mexican. There's no other way to put it. I don't know why the UFC wants to promote Mexicans so badly. Like, most of them are not good, other than Brandon Moreno. And even Brandon Moreno, you guys are pushing it a little bit, like just giving him free title shot after free title shot after free title shot. And it's kind of getting ridiculous at some point. But regarding Movsar Evloev, this is what he had to say about just fighting in Abu Dhabi. He hasn't yet released an opponent, but I like what he said here. If you are a UFC fighter and believe you are the best in the world, then you have to fight every fight they throw at you. No risk, no reward. See you guys in July. It's on Abu Dhabi. I respect that, you know? I can talk about how Movsar Evloev, his fights are sometimes uneventful. He is a pedophile. He married a 17-year-old girl at the age of 23. I can go on a lot of reasons why I don't like Movsar Evloev, but at this point, this is ridiculous. Movsar Evloev should be getting the next title shot. I mean, there's literally no one else. Like, you can look at his Tapology page over here. Dude has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins in the UFC, consecutive wins at that. And yeah, say what you want. Like, I always thought that the Arnold Allen fight was BS. Like, quite frankly, Arnold Allen should have won the fight. I thought it was a clear robbery, but the Canadian soy judges technically gave the fight to Movsar Evloev. Therefore, Movsar Evloev has a win on his record. As much as I don't want that, as much as I disagree, it's reality. Therefore, Movsar Evloev de facto the number one contender. And the fact that the UFC is going out of their way to make sure that Evloev isn't getting a title shot anytime soon is kind of ridiculous, considering who they're gonna give it to, which is Mr. Coulon Yair Rodriguez over here. I'm not even going to go over his entire fight history. Let's just go over his last three fights. Lost the title shot to Alexander Volkanovski, got dominated in a 3-round scrap, which was supposed to be five. Then he got a ragdoll by Brian Ortega. Yair Rodriguez was doing his thing on the feet, but then Ortega just started shooting takedowns, and then from there, Ortega just beat the crap out of him and secured an arm triangle. And then he fought Patricio Pitbull, washed up Bellator fighter, coming in at the age of 37. I question if Patricio Pitbull is even top 10 in the UFC. And I'm not gonna lie, that was a pretty terrible decision. It was an uneventful fight. Not a lot really happened, and the fact that Yair Rodriguez is demanding a title shot off the Patricio Pitbull fight is quite pitiful. If anything, I don't understand why we're rematching Alexander Volkanovski with Patricio Pitbull. Like, one of Volkanovski's easiest title defenses was against Yair Rodriguez. So the fact that the UFC saw the first fight and went, yeah, maybe Yair Rodriguez can fluke this. I don't see it. Yair Rodriguez is too weak on the ground. He just gets ragdolled by anyone who knows how to shoot a double leg, and he just very content with staying on his back. So I don't agree with the fact that Yair Rodriguez is possibly getting a second title shot, and the UFC is just doing Movsar Evloev dirty. You know, we gotta look back at his history. 9 wins in a row in the UFC. Yet for some reason, this doesn't warrant a title shot. Instead, we gotta give it to the Mexican because for some reason we love Mexicans. We love when Yair Rodriguez says "gulon." You know what? You know what? I don't even understand why we're not booking him with Diego Lopez. That was the fight to match. You know, Diego Lopez and Yair Rodriguez have an extended beef. Like if Yair Rodriguez beat Diego Lopez, then yeah, maybe he could be considered for a title shot. But 1 win off of washed Patricio Pitbull, who's unranked in the UFC technically, is quite disgraceful. You know, and it wasn't like Yair Rodriguez dominated Patricio Pitbull. Like Patricio Pitbull, like yeah, he lost all 3 rounds, but it wasn't like Pitbull just got folded up like a lawn chair and just got pieced up on the feet. Yair Rodriguez is one of the most entitled fighters in the UFC right now. And quite frankly, it is disgusting because there's no reason to what like him whatsoever, other than the fact that he can throw some spinning kicks and stuff. Like it's not like I'm like watching a Yair Rodriguez interview and going, wow. You know, if anything, I'm more annoyed with Yair Rodriguez interviews. He just comes off as an entitled child who's like who's like trying to stay respectful, but at the same time just being a prick. And I don't know. I have no interest in watching Alexander Volkanovski ragdoll Yair Rodriguez once more. Yeah, we already know what's gonna happen. You know, Volk is gonna do a good job just mixing in the takedowns along with the striking, and Yair Rodriguez like he's just gonna back up to the fence a lot, and eventually Volk is gonna either ground and pound TKO him or possibly just a 5 round decision. It's not like Yair's really gonna knock him out. Maybe Yair can fluke a head kick, but in a 5 round fight, I don't really trust that. You know, Yair Rodriguez's cardio isn't all that. Volkanovski builds into the fight. So the only way Yair Rodriguez is gonna win is if he head kicks Volkanovski within the first 2 rounds, and I don't see that happening. So yeah, it's a waste of our time, and it's crazy to say this coming from me because I've made a lot of videos talking about how much I hate Movsar Evloev, but give Movsar Evloev the title shot. All right, that's gonna be it for today's video. Leave a comment down below if you agree that the Movsar Evloev situation is ridiculous at this point. Because I don't know why we're skipping out on a Evloev title shot for Yair Rodriguez. You know, and as much as I don't want Movsar Evloev to become champion, like if Evloev becomes champion, then I might consider deleting the channel. But there's literally no one else left. And I would much rather have Evloev fight for the belt than Yair Rodriguez like a third time or something like that. So yeah, I think it's ridiculous, but leave a comment down below as to how you feel. And other than that, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.